Oh, 1 second. Everything's broken again. Hang on. Oh, what's going on? Oh, this is weird. What is going on with my screen at the moment? Someone's broken it. Bear with me. Why can't I edit it? Where's that all the way over there? What's that? That's the chat. What? Sorry, guys. Something massively wrong with this morning. I think what I'm going to have to do... God. Let me just see. That works. I'm going to have to muck about with this later. Can everybody see that all right? Is that all really, really tiny? Obviously, I will make this bigger, but something's gone really wrong with my setup this morning. It's because with monitor change yesterday, it all went a bit wrong. But hopefully you can see all of this and it's not too tiny. If it is too tiny, let me know. Yeah, very small. Yeah, I'm running a 42-inch monitor. That's the reason I have it all zoomed in, because it's going to be way too... I won't be able to read anything. So I might make this a short one this morning anyway. I'm in massive pain with my shoulders still. So it might be a fairly short one. What I can do is I can zoom in on the chart so we can see everything clearer anyway, like that. I'll have to figure out what's going on with it. But basically yesterday, my... yeah, you won't be able to see the dashboard because it would be too small. But yeah, yesterday, my my monitor, my big monitor had an issue where half of it went dark. So I restarted the monitor. I turned it off and on again. As soon as I turned it off, obviously, it reset all my monitors. And it moved everything from my main monitor over onto my side monitors. For some reason, it screwed up the streaming window, which I have smaller on my main monitor. So I'll need to figure out how to reset that for the afternoon session. But I'm in massive pain at the moment. I can't concentrate on anything either. My shoulder. I've got to phone the doctors again today. Anyway, morning, Eric. Morning, David. Made it to a London session. Over risky today with the ORB. Wish me luck. Good luck. Morning, Wesson. Morning, Andres. Morning, Adrian, John, Seymour, Freeman. So today we've got news. Boing. Let me just get over to the news, which you're not going to be able to see. I'm going to have to zoom in on it, aren't I? Yeah, let's see if I can. There we go. All right, there we go. This is going to be weird. So, morning, Chris. So today, big news day. We've got CPI this afternoon. We've had the claimant counts this morning, which was positive for the UK. I don't think it's going to be positive long term for the UK. So yeah, we had a bit of a spike this morning, but I don't think that's going to last. Main news is this afternoon is CPI. So we've got CPI figures coming out, which is going to be massive. So if these figures come out as a negative, i.e. the month-on-month, year-on-year is all below forecast, what that means is the interest rates are doing their job, and what they've done with the interest rate increases is working. And it's also not having a negative effect on unemployment, which is what is expected. So it's all massively positive. So if we get low CPI figures today, I get a feeling we might get a decent movement off of this US, because the US said they're going to increase the rates again. And if we get negative CPI as well, they could put the interest rates up by a good 1/4 to 1/2%, and it's going to have a really big positive impact on everything. So we'll see what happens. It may come out as an exact match. So it's difficult to tell which way it's going to go. CPI is a very double-edged coin. When it comes out as positive, it's actually good for the currency. Short term, but long term, bad. So it has such an effect on everything. It's very difficult to predict which way the market's going to run with it when it changes. So that's this afternoon. I'm planning to come on early this afternoon at 1:20 and possibly trade that, but I'll see how I feel later. But I'll let you know in the Telegram group on that one. So that's the only news we've got for today. Over the night news, there wasn't an awful lot on financial juice. So it was basically the UK stuff, nothing exciting. Biden said some bits and pieces overnight. Japanese government has nominated Kazuo Ueda to be the new governor, which we were expecting. GDP for Japan was not as good as expected. So that's negative yen. Obviously, we had that massive negative move on the yen yesterday. So that was obviously something to do with what they knew was coming out with the GDP figures, but nothing else overnight. I looked at this one this morning. This is the 175 ADR move from yesterday that I said to get in short on in the live room yesterday. And some people, I think, in the Telegram group said they took it. But look at that, 50% retracement off of that ADR extension. So 175 ADR, reversal up at the high there, M pattern, drop. Beautiful, lovely, lovely trade that was. I didn't get on it. I did get on it here, but I had to get out of it here because I was at my max loss. So I got out of it literally as the thing turned. Yesterday was just the worst. I said yesterday in the live room, this month is just turning into just an absolute shit show. This is a mess, absolute mess. So I got in there, I got out there. That's my exit. I couldn't let it go to there because it would have blown the account. I was at max loss. I had no choice to exit, and that is the trade. That was a $500 loss. Imagine what that is. Anyway, so that was me yesterday. That's a nightmare. So DAX today, I'm trading the opening range breakout on the pre-15. I've got a new version of the EA which I'm testing today. We've got 1 minute to the open, 16 seconds. This version of the EA basically, I want to turn on the dashboard. Sorry, 1 sec. I missed it. Okay, gone long. I've just screwed that up basically because I was in the settings when it triggered, so I've missed that, unfortunately. That's annoying. So this version of the EA, this is a new version. The trailing stop is a percentage of the opening range. So I've added a new setting, a new input into the EA, which I've just completely screwed up by going into the settings as the market opened. Good one, Lee. Why don't you break it even more? That's annoying. That would have been 3 positions long, and I've just got 1 on. Never mind. So the trailing stop basically is working as a percentage. You can't see it up here yet because the dash isn't filled. You won't be able to read that either because it's too small because the screen's too big. But it will put up here what the opening ranges are as well. And it will show you what the opening ranges should be. So I've just broken even on that one. So yeah, you can now, instead of using a fixed pip stop loss, you can use a percentage of the opening range as your stop and your trailer. So obviously we've already been able to use the percentage of the opening range as our stop loss. That setting's always been in there, but we've got a new setting in there now, which I'm testing, which you're not going to be able to read because the screen's too small, but it's this one here. It says trail as percentage of OR. So what it does is literally the same thing as your stop setting, where you can use a percentage of the opening range as a stop. You can now use that as a trailer as well. So what it allows us to do is be dynamic, i.e. if we have a tight opening range, we don't want to use a 60-point trailing stop if the opening range is only 20. We might as well use whatever that opening range is to trail with. So I'm going to do some testing on this. But potentially that's going to be a pretty good addition, I think, to the EA. I just want to see, we've got 2.5 minutes. So that's basically a fake move. Unfortunately, I haven't got my pendings on to the lows because I was mucking about in the settings, which is annoying. And it's going to break the lows. If this goes down today, I'm going to be so cross. It's basically going to be a complete wipeout on the account. This would have been, if this goes, a pass. I've over leveraged on it this morning. I've gone in with $1,000 per entry because I just want to get this account over the line. It's not working, this position trading. In here, it's too tight. I'm having to scale out too much on losses. So I just want to get the account over the line, basically, or you know, forget it and just carry on scalping. So I was over leveraging on it this morning, trying to get this over the line, but obviously, me being an idiot, decided to open the settings 5 seconds before the market opened. So obviously, it hasn't placed the trades. I say I'm not with it. Never trade when you're ill. Never trade when you're ill. I'm just so, my head is just so cloudy at the moment. I'm so unfocused. Really shouldn't be doing it. But anyway, we're closing back inside. We've got 1 hour, 1 minute, 27 seconds left. We'll have a whiz through all the FX pairs this morning and have a look at what's happened. The pound pairs, I can't even see this. It's too small. I've got blurry vision as well because I'm on these tablets that affect your nervous system because I've got a trapped nerve. One of the side effects is blurry vision. I haven't got the greatest vision in the world ever. Short distances I'm okay, but I wear glasses for long distance and driving. But I can't read. I can't read the numbers on the bar, the prices at the moment. When will the trailing stop EA will be released? Well, this is already out. The opening range breakout EA is already out. This new, it's already got a trailing stop feature in it. It's just the new feature for trailing stop by opening range size. I've got to test it, but I mean, this was the live test this morning, but I've screwed it up. So I need to test it. Great. Let's just do a price action toolkit. Screw it. Right. Day, I think. So just going to try and trade this manually this morning. And we'll have a look at the FX stuff in a minute. Going short one DAX. Missed the Aussie yen move up, but was selling it this New York session. Yeah, pretty big range. For some reason, it's not printing the ranges either. Let's check that why that's not printed the ranges. Doesn't the tester? Don't know why it's not printed. It's probably something to do with me titting about with it. Anyway. I just need to make sure I'm not exiting. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, 1 sec. Short one more DAX. So looking at the DAX today, where we're going, we've got this propulsion move down here, which is that accumulation break. It actually broke out the highs there. So technically that didn't break the high, but it did break that accumulation. So I would say that is a pretty good selling, buying area. Obviously target will be down here, but this is all broker data. It's not real data. So that is where I would say is our initial target this morning if we're going to go short. Obviously, that's a big if at the moment. Looks fairly bearish, doesn't it? But big old opening range. So quickly looking at the pound pairs while we're waiting for the DAX. The news came out this morning. What time was the news this morning? Whoops. It was at 7, wasn't it? Yeah, 7 o'clock. Which was there. So that big candle there. So this is what the move we got. This big strong move up on the pound odd. We've then since retraced pretty much the entire move, sat there, and it's pushing again a little bit now. Pound CAD, a little bit of a push. Yeah, same with across the board. So not particularly strong for the pound, which I wasn't expecting. It is good news, but I don't expect the pound to be bullish, regardless of what the news is. I got into a pound US dollar yesterday, by the way, as well. I took a reversal alert on this yesterday somewhere down here. So I've got one positioned for CPI this afternoon. Hopefully we'll get a decent move on CPI. But yeah, so I don't think this is a positive move for the pound. It's bearish, the pound. So regardless of what has happened, with the figures being positive, I still don't think they're going to be able to push. So we will see what happens for the London session. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be very excited at all. So we've got a bit of a push going on at the moment, but nothing really dramatic, is it? So just watching these lows. Shouldn't really get too much of a reaction here because this isn't real. This is the market was shut here. This is broker data. So all this is estimated broker data. It's not real. So there isn't really support here. As I say, next level down is going to be down in this area here. We are finding a bit of support on this pre-market move, though. So looking at, oh my God, you can't even see the buy scorecard, can you? So those are the top buys and sells at the moment. Intraday, there's quite a few intradays at the minute, but they're very, very mixed sentiment at the moment. We still haven't got caught, which is really annoying. So the last report we've got is January the 24th. They still haven't released this new version of the COT report from last Tuesday. So we are a week behind still on the COT, which is really annoying because it kind of throws out the sentiment a little bit because we're not actually sure what the COT bias is. I can't trust that COT bias there. DAX is retracing at the moment because I think that's going to change quite a lot. So just pulled up into propulsion and they're selling back into that. If this pushes back down again towards these lows, I'm going to get another short on. Sell stop under this low. I'm just going to add a third position if it can hold and go short. So yeah, it's very difficult to tell what exactly is going on at the moment. From a sentiment perspective, there's quite a few longs and shorts, plus and minus twos. So these are your retail sentiment trades at the moment. So Aussie dollar Swiss short, CAD Swiss short, pound Swiss short, New Zealand Swiss short, Swiss yen long, Euro Swiss short. So you get the message. Everybody's massively long on the Swiss franc at the moment, as you can see down here, 78% plus long on the Swiss franc. So they're really longing all these Swiss franc pairs. the moment. So if you look at the Aussie Swiss coming down, CAD Swiss coming down, Pound Swiss, that's not going anywhere because of the pound. New Zealand Swiss coming down. So they're all good. They're all kind of sort of played out at the moment because they've been massively long. So I've been using the new sentiment EA to trade all of these, and it's working very well. So I'm liking that sentiment play at the minute, but it's really a case of you got to get in and out on these sentiment trades. So they're intraday trades. Just watching this DAX. I'm going to stop out on this, I think. We'll see if this propulsion gap holds up, but it looks like they're looking to go long again. But that's a big old opening range, so it's very difficult to trade this when it's this big. This is a good entry point here now for a short, if it's going to be a short, obviously. They're trying very hard to push back through there. Let's just have a quick look at what the FTSE's up to this morning. I would expect that's probably gone long, yeah. This is going long off the back of obviously the pound. That would have been a nice opening range break this morning. Look, pre-market 15 on that. Look, that was beautiful. Is anybody trading the FTSE with the opening range breakout? I haven't even tested it yet. I haven't got around to it, but the FTSE is a little bit like the Dow at the moment. It's very, very organized when it goes. It's very nice. Might be worth having a look at that. Happy Valentine's Day, World King Top. Morning, Stevie. Morning, Tom. Morning, Luke. Yeah, so that might be another one worth investigating for the pre-market opening range break. We've got 30 seconds left on this candle on the DAX. So we haven't quite tested that wick yet. We are getting selling pressure in here. They haven't managed to push back up very high into this range yet. So we'll see if these sellers can hang on. A little bit of selling action coming in on the FTSE. So watching this high, see if we can get that held, put in a lower high. Didn't look at oil yesterday at all. We had a very weird movement on oil yesterday. We had a new high put in, it pushed up again into this propulsion gap. So it did make a new high yesterday, but came all the way back, screaming back down again. So oil is trying very, very hard to hold this low, and it looks like it is doing so quite nicely at the moment. So we got the new high in, pull back, high, pull back, high, pull back. So this looks like a good launch pad for the next step up. This is what we're targeting. Again, this is a kind of I think this is more of a quadruple top, isn't it, up here? Even 5, look. I mean, this area here is just not relenting at the moment. So we traded from the bottom here, didn't we? This is where I said to look for that long to come in. I tried to get in here and it didn't quite tag me in. So I missed this, unfortunately, but it's still pushing up. We're in this propulsion gap now. So looking for this to come up, maybe an ADR today, 125 ADR into those highs, and then a pullback and try and get a run up to try and get that new leg in higher. Again, we're targeting $100 plus a barrel by the end of this year. So we're going to need to start making a move soon, aren't we? So good rejection on the DAX. That propulsion gap. So yeah, it looks good. Oil. I didn't look at this one yesterday. I completely forgot to have a look at it because my mind is all over the gaff. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So the market structure shift that we were looking for here, we were looking for a pullback. That's where I longed it in there and got out. That's where I was expecting the move to start from. It didn't. It came down and double bottomed. So we're still looking for this high to get invalidated at the moment and come back up into somewhere up here. There's so many levels that could act as resistance on oil at the moment, but should be looking hopefully for a push higher on that. So good looking long opportunities there. Buyer stepping back in again. So we are lower low, lower high at the moment. Right. ADRs today. Look at the size of that. There aren't any. You can see there's nothing there. It's white. There aren't any ADRs. There's no weeklies hit yet either. No monthlies hit. So there's nothing to look at on the ADR dashboard, which is probably quite good. RSI dashboard, I'll read them out because you can't see them. There's nothing on the 4 hours. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar on the hourlies. Whoops, we've got one. It's just played off. Almost hit ADR today, that one. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, hourly RSI extension. So lovely opportunity to pull back into there on that one there. So that looks really good for a short. Huge push on the Aussie. Or was that New Zealand dollar weakness? Must have been New Zealand dollar weakness by the looks of things. Yeah, we had a weak New Zealand dollar during the Asian session. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar took full advantage of that. So nice looking fade opportunity back down to there on that one. Almost hit ADR. So straight up into that propulsion gap, accumulation, break, propulsion, add, drop. Very difficult. This is a short at the moment from a sentiment perspective. There, let's clear those off. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is a short. You've got COP on side, retail is offside at the moment, but COT is short on this, or it was. I don't know what it is now because they haven't released the new COT report, but so it is a sell. What I'm looking for on this one is a pullback on this move at the moment. So I'm anticipating this just becoming a leg, but Aussie is now starting to export again to China. So there is a possibility that we might get some strength coming through on the Aussie, which is why I'm keen to see what the new COT report is, because I want to see what the positioning is on the US dollar specifically. And I wanted that ahead of CPI ideally, but yeah, with this, there is a possibility that we might get a movement a little bit further up on this, and potentially the Aussie taking back control and becoming bullish again. Even so, you can see how lovely the movement is on this pair, Aussie-New Zealand. It's usually very, very rhythmic, apart from when you get a collapse like that. But yeah, so I like this as a fade short today. It's extended on the hourly. You've got pretty much an ADR hit. So, and then 5-minute reversal alert you've already probably had. Yeah. So you've had the 5-minute reversal alert. There was your entry. So it's still sitting around the entry at the moment. Awful lot of wicks to the upside, though, I would say here. Look. Yeah. Very, very, very wicky. Sellers are not in control. This move has exhausted them. Look at how much wick there is to the upside on this. So be a little careful. This might put in another leg and come up and hit ADR. But it's a lovely drop. That's where I would be watching for a drop back down into that propulsion move. We've got Euro US dollar extended on the hourly. So anything you're going to trade against the US dollar today, you need to be a little careful, because obviously we've got CPI figures coming out this afternoon. So that is going to move the US dollar quite dramatically. I would expect to see, depending on what these figures come out as, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 200% ADR move on the US dollar this afternoon. I think this is going to be a big one. because this is the key metric that the interest rates are trying to control. And this will be our first real gauge as to whether or not the interest rates are making an impact for the US dollar. So we could see a really good, strong US this afternoon, in which case, obviously, this is a short. So it's a lovely pullback at the moment, potentially on a new leg down, extended to the upside. So I've taken pound US dollar short because that is also extended, but euro US dollar is the other option. So if you look at this on a higher time frame, obviously we've been in a bull market because we've had a good strong euro and the US dollar has been weak. So the euro has been taking full advantage of that. But when you scale out and look at what this is probably actually going to be, is just a pullback on the short move. So this strength we've seen here, the last time we broke back down below the 24 was here. What we did there was a nice W pattern and pushed up again because we didn't have any good strong news on the US dollar. We've had massively strong news on the US dollar now, and we pulled back, made a new low, pulled back. If this is going to continue, I can see us getting back down below the 72 moving average today on the CPI figures. So I think there's a good short opportunity here, but again, it's all dependent on those figures. If those figures come out wrong, it's not going to work. So we need to really see what happens with this US. But if it does strengthen up, that would back up the COT report getting stronger on the US, which is what I was waiting to see. And unfortunately, it's still not out. I keep refreshing there. I've refreshed this about 20 times yesterday. Waiting for this to update. It's not. So yeah, very, very annoying. This is the API I use to get my data. You can tell instantly whether or not the reports are out because it's sorted by date. So it's 24th of January still. We haven't got week 4. We want week 5. Still not there. So very annoying. But yeah, so we will see. DAX is just pushing back up again. I'm just about to stop out. 1. So buyers back in control. But this is still potentially only a pullback. Adding one more short in case we push back down again from here. So if this is a pullback, basically, difficult to tell where we're going to pull back from, but we're getting up to sort of 50% of the move. So potentially this might be where we're going to step in if we're going short. If we're going long, I'll be getting in here anyway, which is the pre-market 15 opening range break. Big whipsaw this morning. So yeah, euro US dollar looks like a good potential short from here. Nice pullback, nice and orderly if this is where we're going to go from. But thing you also need to bear in mind, obviously, with the news is it is news, and quite often they do whipsaw the news. So we've got that nice area of liquidity sitting there from last week's high, last Thursday, which was last week's high, I think. Monday was last week's high there. So we've got that level there, just below this black line. And then we've got Thursday. So there's basically potentially a couple of liquidity pools sitting there. So they could well spike it and then drop it, or they could drop it and then spike it, depending on which way they want to go with it, depending on obviously what the news is. So we're sitting very conveniently at the moment within an ADR of taking out liquidity on both ends. So it's a really easy move for the market today to go and grab some liquidity from either direction and then run off with it in the other direction. So just be a bit careful today with these, because it could go either way, and it could also go both ways. It's unusual on CPI figures to see it go both ways. Non-farm payroll is much more typical of that. The CPI figure is too important. We tend to get an actual move in the direction we should be going with CPI because it is a very important figure, and it will decide what they do with the interest rates moving forward. So Euro US dollar potentially looks good for a short if they're going to take it short from there. The other RSIs we've got are the pound New Zealand and the pound US. So pound New Zealand, excuse me, already short on this one. We're just coming up and taking out the high from Friday. At the moment, again, nice rejection there. Look, big old rejection candle. We came up, took that liquidity, pulled back down again. It's pushing back up inside there at the moment, but at the moment we are just an inside bar on the hourly. So pound is getting a bit of a boost by the looks of things off of the news that it's had. However, if the US dollar news comes out as positive, I think we'll get some money taken out of the pound. So looks like a potential good short opportunity. RSI nicely extended. You'd be looking to play it back down potentially into this area, although I'm not sure it'll do that today. That's an ADR. But it is pretty range bound at the moment. Yeah, so we're stuck inside this big old range. So I'm looking to target the lows of the range. We're back up here again, look. Yeah. Market does not really want to go above this level. We are making ever so slight progress though. Yeah, but I think it's probably got a little bit more of a contraction in it yet before it goes, but we'll see. But nicely extended to the upside. So M5 reversal alert, drop down to M5, wait for the reverse. Oh, you've already had it. Reverse alert was already this morning in the Asian session and it's retested, but it is pushing up again. So we might get a new high put in here, in which case then your reversal alert will be somewhere around there to go short. Obvious initial target is going to be somewhere in here, double bottom that. Other than that, if it is going to come down, a lot lower, obviously. Pound US dollar is the other extended one, which I got into yesterday. So I got in on this reversal alert here. And then it just sort of chopped around for the rest of the session. We've pushed up on the news this morning, up into there. And again, we're hovering. So I doubt you'll see much movement on any of these this morning because there's no one in their right mind is going to put a large amount of money into the market and move the market before the news. They're going to wait until the news happens because if you're a large institution with a load of orders to execute on the US, you're not going to execute them before the CPI figures. You're going to execute them when you know which way it's going because you're either going to want to go speculatively with that move or you're going to want to get a better price and make more commission on it, basically. So it's unlikely we will get a large movement ahead of the news. What we could get is a whipsaw today, though, in the London session, and just basically come and take out the Asian highs and lows. So watch for that today. If we push up into the highs, nice range short. If we push into the lows, nice range long, potentially. And back into the mean, ready for the news at 1:30. And then obviously go where we go. But I've got this on short at the moment. I haven't got a TP on it. That's ADR. Down there is obviously the obvious spot for a TP. But, you know, it depends where this is going to go. The strength of movement we've had off of FOMC and then the unemployment figures, we've pulled back into the propulsion. They've stepped it down a bit. We've made a new high and we're pushing up. So if they take this high out, all the liquidity on everybody that's shorted there, it's gone. And then we're reset for a potential move back down to here. That's 225 ADR. And again, on a strong CPI figure, 200% ADR is not off the cards. So that isn't a bad target. Look at the news candles, yeah? So these are news candles. That is unemployment. That is FOMC. Yeah. So it's not unusual on a news event to get a move of, what's that, 170 odd, which is 1.5 ADR. Yeah, so there's your news event there. That was 230, 170. So if let's say this is where we end up, easy low there, that low, that one candle, 1 4-hour candle, bang, that'll be done. If it's a really strong figure like this, we're looking at something like 350. That's all the way down there. So 200 ADR is definitely on the cards for CPI, but we will see. You know, we need to just see what happens with it, basically. Just the DAX is just coming down. Sorry, going up rather. Coming down, going up. So we've got the breakout to the upside on that. That's the opening range breakout EA, just triggered on its longs. There you go. So there's the ranges in, look, range sizes. So we've got in there now the range sizes, 125 for the pre-market 15. The post-market 15 was 500. So there's your OR trailers, OR 1, 2, and 3 trailers. So you can see I've set mine to 100%. So it's using 125 pip trailer and a 500 pip trailer, or 500 point, 50 point and a 12.5 point trailer. So the trailer is based on the size of the range now. But I need to do some proper testing on this. It's all working in the strategy tester. And I assume it's working in here. Yeah, that's locked in. So that should be 125. Yeah, perfect. So it's working perfectly. Look, 125. You can't read that because it's too small, but that is, trust me, that's 12.5 points between that high and the trailer, which is locked in $600 profit. So it works. That's good. Now, if you could just push up to those highs and then actually fly out the highs for me, that would be even better. But you're not. You're going to stop me out. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, that's pound US dollar. And we've got US dollar Swiss. So same story for US dollar Swiss. Is it going to be a long or a short? So US dollar Swiss, we've pushed up into those highs with the news. We've basically put in a nice market structure potentially to go long, but it's pulling back again. So we're kind of contracting, as you would expect ahead of a news event. But the last move up was bullish. So this is a bullish symmetrical triangle that's being formed at the moment. So we are extended to the downside on the hourly, which is good. We're in this propulsion gap formed by the unemployment figures. Buyers have certainly bought it up. If they can buy it up here as well, that'd be lovely. I'd like to see some movement to the upside on this ahead of the news just to show some strength. But target up there and beyond, really, on that one. So we will see. But yeah, it looks pretty good for longs, I think, at the moment, with the US, assuming these CPI figures are going to come out nice for them. So DAX going long now, yeah. So I've just stopped out on those. It's just about $600 profit on that push. Nothing to write home about. I am still long one. That's the 15-minute opening range break, which it looks like I got a bit slipped on. Yeah, I got slipped on that by 1.5 points. So I'm just going to cancel those pending shorts off. Again, you've got to be a bit careful with these indices this morning. Obviously, 1.5 hours ahead of the news, we may not get any movement today. We may well just sit in a rotation on this and go absolutely nowhere today. Wouldn't surprise me if that happened. We're just, you know, this not necessarily going to be a lot of stock purchasing ahead of the CPI figures either. So let's see what the US indices are up to. Yeah, NAS has basically just pulled down, pushed up. Dow's making new highs. So Dow's pushing quite nicely. Very strong move on the Dow, look. But yeah, so US dollar Swiss, nicely extended on the hourly, down in there again. So again, if you're looking to to get a position on in the US dollar. Pound US dollar as a short, Euro US dollar as a short, US dollar Swiss as a long, if you are long bias on US dollar. Obviously, we don't know which way it's going to go. However, from what the Fed has been saying, if we get nice, happy CPI figures, which are going to be bullish for the US, we should get a really good, strong move today. But we don't know. What we do know, though, is they certainly haven't priced anything in yet. So if you look at all the US pairs, since we had the unemployment and FOMC, we haven't really gone anywhere. Yeah. So all we've done is we've flip-flopped around down here. So they haven't priced in any movement on CPI. So they're waiting for CPI. That will then price in the next move, which will be bullish or bearish, depending on the interest rates. Diamond, well, I've been whipped out for -1%. Going to walk away for the morning. I think that's probably a good idea, Diamond. I'm not sure this is going to work. David Montoya, how did your big risk entry go? What was that big risk entry yesterday? Big bearish move there. I'm just about to go short. This is total whip this morning. Total whip. So we've basically put in an opening range. We've taken the low of the opening range out. We've taken out the high of the opening range. I'm just short again now. So I'm hedged with a small long and a larger short. Up at the start of the chat, he was going in with a large risk on the ORB. Over risking today with the ORB. Depends which ORB he's using. It's interesting to see the difference with the ORBs yesterday on the. I think I'm in the wrong platform. Yeah, it's the wrong one. Yeah, because I've got multiple versions of the ORB running on the new VPS. Two of them made small losses yesterday on the NASDAQ, like a $300 loss and a $500 loss. The other one made a $2,000 gain. So interesting how it all changes, depending on which set file you use. Right, so that's really all I've got for you today. The only other thing to look out for today is obviously the main biases. So your main buys and sells. US dollar CAD. So we've got those yen. So US dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar CAD are the main buys, and everything sell against the US dollar as well as pound New Zealand. So, but you've got to really take it in. It's very difficult without having the COT report. These biases aren't necessarily 100% accurate at the moment because we don't know what the actual COT positioning is because we haven't had the figures released, unfortunately. David, first two entries were nice and I stopped trading after that, manually closed both trades, had a large trailing stop, so it wouldn't have wicked me out. Cool, nice one. Is the sentiment updated? Yeah, sentiment's all fine. Yeah. Sentiment's all fine. That was updated 6:57. Morning, Neo. So yeah, so really good sentiment trades available. Swiss yen is the top at the moment. There's sells on that, so they're selling the crap out of the Swiss yen at the moment. So that's been flying up. That was a lovely one yesterday. Market is massively short Swiss yen. so it flew. New Zealand dollar CAD is another good one. So they're massively short. So we had a nice big rally on that yesterday. It's coming down this morning, so potentially good for another buy there. Short wise, CAD Swiss, 93% of the market is long CAD Swiss. Collapsing. Great, isn't it? So yeah, really good. Are you able to hold the control key and zoom in and out with your mouse wheel? Yeah. I am. Why? On what? On this? We go. I mean, go to the website. Yeah. I mean, I can. It's actually Alt on them. Oh, hang on. Why can't I zoom in and out on this? I can't zoom in and out on this one. I can with other. For some reason, I can't on. Why can't I do that on my website? It doesn't work. My website's too clever. Too stupid. Right, so I'm going to leave it there, guys, this morning because I'm going to phone the doctor in a minute. My arm is absolutely killing me. I can't concentrate on anything. So I will get my screen fixed so that it's the stream is working properly later. But if you want to go and have a look at the sentiment, just go to the website and have a look at it on there. It's all on the website. So go and have a look yourself at that. I'm planning to come on for 1:15 to trade, or to watch CPI basically. But I'll see how I am. I'll put an update in the Telegram group. I might have to go to the doctors. Basically, the next step for me, because I've had this now for a week and I'm on drugs basically, which are meant to affect your nervous system and stop this trapped nerve from hurting. The next step is to go to hospital for a scan, CT scan. So I'm going to phone the doctor and say, drugs ain't working. So I'm expecting him to possibly send me for a CT scan. So if that's the case, then I don't know whether it'll be a case of in you go this afternoon or schedule you in for whenever. I have no idea how long waiting lists and things are at the moment with that sort of stuff. So, but I will update you in the Telegram group and let you know. But yeah, that's it for me for this morning. I will update as to what I'm going to do this afternoon. Either way, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. But I want to ideally see if I can trade the CPI this afternoon. That would be good to get on that. But we'll see. So keep obviously that in mind for the US dollar this afternoon. We should expect some big moves off of that. Other than that, there's nothing else this afternoon. We don't really need anything else because that's going to move everything massively. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'll be back again, hopefully, for 1:20. But if you're not in the Telegram group, go and join the Telegram group. There's links all over the website to it. In the header, there's Telegrams up there in the header. There's big blocks all over the website saying join the Telegram group. So if you're not in the Telegram group, go and join that. And I'll be announcing in there what I'm going to do this afternoon when I know. But hopefully I'll be around for it. Would be nice to trade it. But good luck if I'm not. And hopefully you make an absolute ton of cash out of that. It's a good money-making opportunity, but we will... it's also very dangerous, so don't go mad on it. All right, guys. So have a good one. I'll be back hopefully later on this afternoon. And have a good morning.